Show presents
Songs of the Same Name.
Songs of the Same Name.
Today we're taking a look at songs of the same name by different artists.
What are they all about?
Which version
Is superior? Songs of the Same Name.
Songs of the Same Name.
Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Songs of the Same Name on the Scratch a Track podcast, presented by the Dude and Grim Show. Dude and Grim Show. In case you didn't know, which you do.
The crowd goes wild.
Who doesn't know? He's on fire!
Yeah.
Is it the shoes?
I'm not wearing any.
Shit, either am I. Dude, I don't even have pants on, so
Yeah.
it's fine. I better not stand up. Anyways, so to start off, or this is our second episode of the Songs of the Same Name. And I think the first one went really well. I'm digging it. It's kind of a fun little concept and thing to play. And once you start doing research, you really realize there's a lot of songs out there that have the same name.
And very different ones, as
Very
you
different
will
ones.
see
Yeah.
here. Although, strangely, very similar in the timeline of life. I mean, in astrological terms, it's less than the blink of an eye. It happens so quick.
It's really quick. It's really quick. Well, that's what's a little, I guess, strange about this one. So we're doing the song Creep, and a lot of people know that as Radiohead's Creep, and then Stone Temple Pilots' Creep. The funny thing about it is Radiohead released their version of Creep as a single. This song is off their first album, Pablo Honey, but they released it as a single on September 21st, 1992. Stone Temple Pilots released their album Core on September 29th, 1992. So within a week, we had two Creeps. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now it should be noted, the single Creep, I didn't think it came out, in 93? Was it February of 93? I'm not mistaken.
Pablo Honey came out in February of 93. Yeah.
Sorry, Stone Temple Pilots' Creep was released as a single November of 93.
Exactly.
However, the song was technically out there because you had the album release, right? So
exactly. Yes. You
okay. Now, kind of piggybacking on our initial discussion, there was also a very in time wise, very different version of Creep released around there in October on Halloween, October 31st of 94, and that's Creep by none other than TLC. Off the album Crazy Sexy Cool,
which is a big hit for them.
Oh yeah, I mean I was looking at the track listing and I really thought I knew a lot more of them, but other than Creep and Waterfalls, I kind of, I don't remember all of them. But anyways, those were two huge hits and big videos too. And the video for Creep is really pretty sexy with them in their pajamas and kind of dancing around and
doing stuff. Yeah, that's cool.
Now the song, personally for me, that song didn't quite have the impact of the other two aforementioned Creeps, but I think it had a pretty big impact nonetheless.
Dude, all three of their versions are huge hits for the band. I mean, huge hits. I mean, I think when people think of TLC, I think Waterfall is probably the one that maybe trumps Creep a little bit, but they're right on par, man. Yep. I mean, they're both really good songs. And I mean Creep basically brought Radiohead into existence, for lack of in terms of MTV, and like you knew who this band was after that video came out. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that they put it out as a single before the album was released, and it didn't do great. It actually only reached up to 78 on the UK charts and sold 6,000 copies.
Wow. I remember that video quite well.
Well, here's the thing. The story does not end there, my friend.
Oh.
So then they released Pablo Honey, and they decided, since they already tried Creep, they put out Anyone Can Play Guitar.
I mean, for Pablo Honey, I didn't mind that song.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I prefer on Pablo Honey. The three songs. My three favorite songs are "You," "Blowout," and "Creep."
Dude,
but then
I would say those are "You" is
good
awesome.
way to start the album too.
That could be another songs of the same name. We'll get to that after this.
Oh yeah, all right, I like it. But then so check this out, dude. In Israel, there's this DJ Yoav Kutner. I guess he played the song and it became a big hit in Israel. And then that kind of spread to New Zealand and Spain, the Scandinavian countries. And then radio stations in San Francisco started to pick it up and they started to play it. And then it started playing up and down the west coast of the US. And then it became a national hit in the US the whole second half of 1993. So and once that happened, it actually reached up to 34 on the Billboard 100. So it is, to this date, surprisingly enough, maybe not surprisingly enough, because I don't necessarily think of Radiohead as a radio friendly band necessarily, but it is their highest charting single to date.
Well, so, that does make sense, and I mean MTV played the hell out of it when they used to play music videos, and I was just gonna say, how can you ever just forget that on the guitar?
Dude, it's sweet, awesome. Man. He just scratches it. Yeah. And so I guess there's a little story behind that. Johnny Greenwood, who's Radiohead's guitarist, he put that part in almost, I don't know if I would say it was a joke or he was just kind of like upset or annoyed a little bit of the song. So he kind of just put it in there as just like I'm not really digging it, and just almost kind of mess with the song, but it kind of stuck, and that's how they play it.
One thing that I think is weird too is that apparently it says that Radiohead took elements of the Hollies song "The Air That I Breathe."
I did read that.
As a result of some legal action, Albert Hammond, don't know if that's Albert Hammond Jr.'s father from the Strokes, could be
from the Strokes.
Sounds like it could be. And Mike Hazelwood, which I'm assuming are the guys from the Hollies who wrote it, were credited as co-writers. I know this song by the Hollies, and I'm sorry, I just don't really hear it.
No.
I mean, maybe if you listen to that chord progression during the verses slightly, but I'm sorry, I feel like that is a real bullshit legal move. A little bit of a stretch. Yeah, if you played the two songs back to back, I don't think that anyone would be like, this is obviously a ripoff of the Hollies.
Not like the intro to Stairway to Heaven that Led Zeppelin's been in litigation about I don't know, 10, 15,
Have
20
you heard
years.
That? Dude, it's
pretty
basically like they took that recording of it. Not only the chord progression, it's bad.
You could probably swap out the parts and most people wouldn't really notice.
Oh yeah, like cut it in. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
So
anyways, on to STP.
Yeah. STP, their album Core was released a week after the Radiohead's version was released as a single. So it is mainly they're very different songs because I mean this one's primarily all acoustic. Whereas Radiohead's is more electric and it has the scratch and everything. This one's pretty much all acoustic
and really chilled out, especially in the context of Core, which was I'd say that was a pretty heavy album, their debut album, and you could drop it right in with Dead and Bloated. I mean they didn't waste any time getting into it. But,
all of it, Sin, sex type thing. I mean,
know. It was pretty
where
heavy.
The river goes. Yeah, but it's good. That's why it fits so well, I think, with the album though, is because it's a nice little breakup. So
now, one thing I think that's interesting is if you look at their singles, the chronology of their singles, the one before Creep was Plush, and Plush was also just huge. I mean, I remember being in guitar lessons as a kid, and that song was so popular. I was like, I want to learn how to play that. And from the context of like just a regular rock song, there are some pretty like difficult and not just your standard rock and roll chords in that song. I mean, it's it's definitely Robert DeLeo Or is it Robert or Dean?
Robert is the bassist. Dean is the guitarist.
Well, I think Dean probably, I would assume wrote most of the chords.
So, well, are you
it
talking
says
about
Robert's the composer.
Yeah.
Or
So
that's a Creep. I'm talking about Plush.
Are you talking? Okay. Yeah.
But anyways, those chords, that was difficult for me to play as a being that young of a kid, because it was just their chord. It's not your standard 1-4-5 rock song. It was,
Yeah. No, definitely not. That means nothing to me, but I'm glad it means something to you. No, dude, I'm sure it means something to a lot of people.
Means a ton
everything
to
you.
It means everything to me.
Well, so like you were saying, though,
going off of that single, you got some momentum. I guess.
Yeah, you do.
Long story long, but.
Well, and this was also in the area where MTV Unplugged was just huge, right? Just huge. And so not only did STP, they released Plush, but then there's the acoustic version of Plush, and then they played MTV Unplugged, which was, I believe they start off with Cracker Man, and then it's either Cracker Man or Wicker. The second song they played was Creep. So I think a lot of people know the MTV Unplugged versions. They know the album version. And
much like that's very, to me, reminiscent of Alice in Chains. I mean, the versions of, Yeah.
One thing that's cool, though, and if people have downloaded, they now have remastered and super deluxe versions and stuff. During the MTV performance of Creep, Scott Weiland, he sings, everything's the same except the way he sings some of the lyrics about halfway through. When he sings, think you're kind of neat, then she tells me I'm a creep, friends don't mean a thing, guess I'll leave it up to me. He sings it up in like a much higher range. And I really like that much better than the way it is on the album. And
it's like more personal.
It is. It's just deeper, and he screams it a little more. But if you get the super deluxe edition or whatever that they have now, they actually take that, and I don't know if they took it from the Unplugged recording, but they had another version of it that is recorded, and it's basically Creep, but he sings it like up in that range during that part. And I actually prefer that version. It's just pretty cool. So
yeah, no, that is cool.
But yeah, so Scott Weiland, he wrote the lyrics, but the bassist, Robert DeLeo, he wrote the music for the track, and he said that he was actually inspired by Neil Young's Heart of Gold for this song. And I could
see that.
This may mean something to you too, that it's in the key of D minor, which is apparently the saddest key of all, he says.
Oh, dude, yeah. It just makes people weep instantly. So according to Nigel Tufnell.
He likes to play at 11. So, and then this video actually this song actually had a music video that was originally directed by Gus Van Sant, which people might know from, he directed Good Will Hunting, the movie Elephant, My Own Private Idaho. So very, very prevalent movie director, but he's also done some music videos. But apparently it was shelved due to drug and sexual references. So I looked for a version, some kind of video of it. I couldn't find it online, so I don't know if one actually exists. I don't know if it got to the point where they would be editing it, or at what point in the production maybe it was shelved. But it sounds pretty interesting, and I'd definitely like to check it out. The MTV version is much more toned down. It's basically Weiland is sitting at the kitchen table in like a house with the band around him, and he's just kind of lip syncing to the song, and then it cuts away to him, I think, like sitting on a floor, and he's just kind of like rocking back and forth.
Yeah, that's I remember, like a rocking chair.
Yeah, something like that. So, it's definitely toned down. I would really like to see the Gus Van Sant version if it actually exists. So if people know, if anybody knows that it's out there or where to find it, drop us a link, because I'd love to check it out. Send a link. Yeah. So I don't know, Graham. Are we ready to not scratch, but are we ready to kind of prefer one or the other?
I think we are ready to prefer.
Damn. This is tough, man, because and even TLC's version, but
I was going to say, don't dismiss that one either.
Yeah, because I feel like, I guess as a song, the one I probably, I don't even know which one I listen to more. I guess I probably listen to STPs more, but I feel like if Creep never happened for Radiohead, which is basically my favorite band, we probably wouldn't have Radiohead. Like, in as much as
in the
Radiohead,
same capacity to we do, yeah.
And as much as Radiohead at a
fair.
point in their career just hated this song because they toured and played this song at every show for like 2 years, which has got to be just mind numbing at some points.
Oh, sure.
They have recently started putting it back into the rotation for shows. Gosh, I don't know. I would probably have to go with Radiohead's just because I like some of the lyrics. I want you to notice when I'm not around, and you're so fucking special.
They
I wish I was special.
F word in it.
Well, and there's a radio edit too, where they don't. So, you can get multiple
prefer
versions.
the album version. I mean,
yes.
a lot of
All
the
about
show
that.
is based around albums.
Exactly. So I guess I'm gonna go. With Radiohead's Creep.
Okay, that's a
What do you
pretty
got?
fair assessment. I think along similar lines. I guess it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Like if I'm just kind of chilling out in the backyard or something, sipping a beverage of my choice, I'd probably want to just put on the Stone Temple Pilots version because it's just really nice and chilled out. But I like the dynamics in the Radiohead version a lot. Really like the dynamics because it's so, and obviously because they copied the Hollies, it's just kind of slow during the verses, and then the scratch is just the precursor to to the fire that's coming.
Yeah.
But I think just to listen to it, I would probably take the STP version. Although I see your point about Radiohead, but now if we're going to talk about videos, I'm obviously going the TLC version because they're hot, and that's
Yeah. No, it's understandable. I can't argue with that. I think one thing I will say or add on a little bit is I listen to Core as an album more than I listen to Pablo Honey. So it's easier.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
It's easier for me to put on Core and know that I'm like, oh, sweet, cool, I'm getting to Creep, right? Whereas I'm not like, hey, I'm going to put on Pablo Honey and not skip half the songs, so I can get to, the ones that I do like. I think that's my biggest thing. It's if I'm listening to Radiohead's Creep, I'm going to specifically put that song on, whereas STP's version, it's because I'm listening to
You can
Core.
run through the album. Yeah, that's fair.
Yep. No problem. So,
And TLC's version just cuz.
Well, I think that wraps up Creep. I'm not a creep,
Yeah.
you're not a creep, but let's creep.
All right. So we'll
All right.
creep on, creeping on. And,
Is it the shoes?
We'll scratch you next time.
He's on fire.
In the meantime, you can scratch us. Comments, likes.
Subscribe. Scratch you later.
Songs of the same name.
Is produced by the Dude and Grim. Additional music provided by More. That's ... MORE. And the Tims. TIMNZ. Copyright 2020. The Dude and Grim Show.
Well, tell me about the cross you bear.